Good afternoon, everybody. I'm John Armstrong. We're very excited that you're attending our presentation today on dietary supplement safety, understanding 21 CFR Part 111 and SSCI audits. The speakers today are John Gawlak. John Gawlak is our technical manager and senior auditor, the person with the most experience at our company for dietary supplements, and we're excited that you'll be able to hear from him today. John does have over 34 years of experience in quality and project management, and he has experience, about 28 years leadership experience working at pharmaceutical, cosmetic, personal care, food, and medical device industry companies. I'm John Armstrong. I'm the regional sales manager for pharmaceuticals, and my experience entails about 20 years of experience in cosmetics, medical device, healthcare, and pharmaceuticals. So a little brief background of SGS. SGS is number one, a world leader in completing certifications. We have over 99,000 employees around the world working out of 2,600 offices, and our history goes back to 1878. When SGS was founded. We diversified in the mid-20th century into inspection, testing, and verification services, and it wasn't long after that we were listed on the Swiss Stock Exchange. Today, we have over 145 years in business, and I think that what's great about that is we offer certification, training, customized audits, and technical consulting. So when you think about certification, we cover several industries, but things that might be most closely related to you on this call is we do cover certifications for food, dietary supplements, OTC products, medical device, cosmetics. Our training includes training to those standards that you might be seeking certification in. And so we can train your organization not only to the scheme, but also how to audit against the scheme for your internal auditors. And if you're the lead auditor, we have training for you as well. We do perform customized audits. Many people come to us and ask for a gap analysis, a pre-audit, or maybe they've gotten a letter and they just want to have somebody come in and have a fresh set of eyes look at what they're doing at their company as they prepare to go back and communicate with organizations that are interested. We offer technical consulting, too. If you're setting up and you really want to find out how to start out with the best foot forward, we certainly have the ability to do consulting as well. I hope that's helpful. I think the difference for SGS is that not only do we offer quality of service, we have a global network, but we also have a local network in the country that you work in. And we have industry expertise with multiple years, very deep experience. So if you're thinking about getting consulting with us or doing a project, you can feel confident that we can handle your project globally or locally, whatever your circumstances are. Today's agenda, we're going to cover the Dietary Marketplace. We will cover 21 CFR 111. We're going to provide you with an overview. We'll also talk about Supplement Safety and Compliance Initiative, or SSCI. It's become very popular over the last year at our company. So, the business question is, why do companies seek these certifications? What's the process of the audit? How to best prepare for a successful audit? What are the best practices that you could look at that would set you up for success? How is SGS able to support your company through this process of certification, training, or consulting? What can the SGS Academy provide for you? We do have a list. We will have questions and answers at the end, but I want you to feel confident if you have a question to please type it in. We're going to provide you with our contact information, and then we are going to send you an email with some of the information that I think that you're going to want to see for the audits. So with that said, I'd like to introduce John Gawlak.
Oh, thank you, John. I want to thank everybody for the time today to listen in and watch our webinar. So I want to kick off today with a quick survey. So what certifications are accepted by Amazon to be able to sell dietary supplements on the Amazon Marketplace? So I'll give you guys a few seconds here to check the boxes you think are the ones that Amazon accepts. and then we'll go over the answers here in a few seconds. All right, so let's take a look here. All right, so we got 100% of the people say U.S. FDA is the requirement that Amazon requires. Actually, that's the U.S. FDA does not issue a GMP certificate like Health Canada does, or the European Medicines Agency issues a GMP certificate to manufacturers. The FDA does not do that. So in the United States, to sell products on Amazon, you have to be certified by a certification scheme like SSCI, GRMA, WHO GMP, NF-ANSI, or another certification from SGS or something from the United States Pharmacopoeia. So all of the other ones are ones that are available out there in the marketplace to use in order to sell your products on Amazon. So one too many. So, okay. All right. So, to talk about the Dietary Supplement Marketplace, Amazon, there's a link there. When you get the slide deck, when the webinar is over, you can link on that, and it takes you right to the link that says these are all the requirements that you can pick from in order to be able to sell your products at Amazon Marketplace. SGS is listed as an accepted certification body for the SSCI, which is listed as an acceptable certification. And SGS is also listed there for other acceptable certifications for other type of products as well, as far as cosmetics, over-the-counter drug products, and a few other types of certifications as well there. As far as Walmart goes, one of the biggest places where dietary supplements are sold, the link then there again takes you to a multi-page document from Walmart about what you need to do to be able to sell products through their stores. So for dietary supplements, they recognize SSCI, and they also recognize the retail certification program from UL. But that is only going to be continued to be accepted through the end of December 2023. So at the end of December 2023, they stopped accepting the UL retail certification program, and they're converting over to the SSCI certification program. For sports nutritional supplements, there is the NSF certified for sport, and then also the SSCI certification is acceptable. And these are all based on 21 CFR Part 111. So I'm going to take a guess here, but here we're going to take another quick survey. How many of you have heard of 21 CFR Part 111? All right, we got about 50% of the people have responded so far, so we have another second or two for the rest of the folks to respond to the screen to refresh. All right, we got about 2/3 of the people responded so far, so let's take a look. All right, so 66% of the 2/3 of the people that have responded said yes, they've heard of it. Other 34% have not heard of 21 CFR Part 111. So what is 21 CFR Part 111? In 1984, the U.S. Congress passed a law that was signed in by the President called the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act, or DSHEA. That directed the FDA to create GMPs, or good manufacturing practices, for the dietary supplement industry. Those GMPs were written down and published in the Code of Federal Regulations, Title 21 Code of Federal Regulations, Part 111, which are the current good manufacturing practice in the manufacturing, packaging, labeling, or holding operations for dietary supplements. They were issued by the USFDA on June 25th, 2007. I've included a link here for when you get your slide deck that you can go out right out to the government website and you can read the most current version. So there are various sections and requirements in 111. The FDA is going to focus on quite a few things with regards to 111 when they do inspections at your site. So first thing they're going to look at is labeling review. The FDA is going to come in and make sure what are the label claims the nutraceutical company is making on their dietary supplements. Have they followed the dietary supplement labeling requirements? And through a review of their documentation, they're going to make sure that the dietary supplements are being tested accordingly and the label claims are being met. They're going to look at 5 main things. And when we look at this, they call them the 5 pillars of dietary supplement world. So the first one is the labeling review. The second one are the requirements, quality control. So is the quality unit independent? Is the quality unit responsible for all the things that the regulations tell them that they need to be responsible for? Then now it's going to look at quality indicators. They're going to take a look at the companies. Have there been any recalls? What do the quality complaint investigations look like? Have there been adverse events? How have those been investigated? What are the laboratory out-of-specification or OOS investigations look like? And what do the deviation investigations look like? They're going to take a look at the company's facilities and equipment to make sure they meet the requirements. And then they're going to do product review. They're going to be digging into the master manufacturing record requirements, the batch production record, and then the specification requirements spelled out in Part 111. So when it comes raw material specifications, packaging component specifications, label specifications, intermediate and bulk product, and finished product specifications. Had the privilege to work with SSCI directly last week at an audit of a company, and the lady from the SSCI was actually had the privilege the previous week to audit with the new FDA dietary supplement expert. When that audit concluded, the FDA issued a 483 to that dietary supplement company. Form 483 is the form you receive when you have observations from the FDA. And 2 of those observations that were made specifically dive into the master manufacturing or MMR requirement and the production batch record, or the batch production record, PBR requirement. And 2 of the things that new dietary supplement expert brought out was that the master manufacturing record has to have a description of the packaging and a representative label from the master label in the batch record or the master record, or a cross-reference to the physical location of the actual representative label. We know that across the dietary supplement industry, there are a lot of companies that don't include those labels in the batch record because the labels change quite often, and they didn't want to have to be involved with updating their batch records all the time, the master manufacturing records, and things like that when they did the change controls to update their labels. But the FDA is stating that you either got to have that cross-reference in there per Part 111, or you have to have an actual representative of the label. That comes mostly from the pharma side. When they wrote 21 CFR Part 111, They wrote it from a perspective that some nutraceuticals are more food-based and some nutraceuticals are more pharma-based. In the pharma world, you always have a representative label in the batch record. In the food world, you don't always have a representative label in the batch record. So when the FDA wrote the regulations for the GMPs for nutraceuticals, Part 111, they sort of harmonized in the middle to where you could either have a representative label or have a cross-reference to it. Also, another thing that's in the batch production record, 111-260C says the date and time of maintenance, cleaning, and sanitizing the equipment and processing lines used in producing a batch needs to be captured in the batch record, or you have to have a cross-reference to the records such as individual equipment logs where that information is retained. So a lot of dietary supplement companies, they have individual cleaning records, they have individual maintenance records, or they have a cleaning use log where they capture the cleaning, maintenance, and everything, but it's not part of the batch record. That's fine. But what the FDA wants to see, or what they require to see, is a cross-reference over to the cleaning records are here, the preventative maintenance records are there, so that when they come in to inspect, they know exactly where to go look for it and where to find it. So that was a real quick overview. 21 CFR Part 111, which is the Dietary Supplement GMPs, is a very good general requirements for personal hygiene and gowning, facility maintenance, design, cleaning, production records, batch record requirements, labeling requirements, documentation requirements. So a real good overview of what you need to do to be compliant with the FDA. What that does is that rolls us into now, what is SSCI? Where did this come from that now we have SSCI certification? So SSCI is the Supplemental Safety and Compliance Initiative organization. They're based out of Washington, D.C. They are a retailer and manufacturer consortium that works together to make things better. So a quick overview of what a SSCI is. They have a board of directors that develop benchmarking technical documents, and they have issued and created working groups. They have SSCI versus GRMA, which is another organization similar to SSCI. They're trying to work together with that. We have SSCI structure, and then SSCI has key objectives that we're trying to drive across the organization, trying to drive across the business. So how did this all come about? We go back a few years to 2015, and the Attorney General of New York put a cease and desist order in place for mainly GNC, Target, and Walmart, because they investigated, they went out and they had a whole bunch of products tested, and 21% of the products didn't test for what the product said were in there. And there was also contaminants that were in there that weren't properly handled or addressed on the labeling as well. So the Attorney General of New York came out and said basically there's not enough safety measures in the industry. There's not a standard approach on how to prove authenticity of what's in your product, and that the FDA didn't truly have an overarching federal requirement for the contaminant testing. So that shook the whole industry up. So a group of industry leaders came together and identified some additional learnings. they agreed with the FDA commissioner at the time that there was no comprehensive system in place to provide end-to-end transparency in the supply chain, and that the FDA needed to get an update done in the dietary supplement regulatory oversight. So when the industry leaders got together, they understood that there is a gap in the guidelines, specifically around raw materials that are synthetics or botanicals, that there was a lack of harmonized standards around the quality, the authenticity, traceability, and transparency of the supply chain. There was a lack of consistency in audit criteria for finished products that caused an impact on rating and certification. There was a large inter-auditor variability across the industry, and also intra-auditor variability. So between different certification bodies, there was variability, and then within the auditors, within the different certification bodies, they saw variability. So there was a lack of visibility for products that are in the marketplace. As far as cosmetics now are required to register with the FDA, drug products have to register with the FDA, medical devices register with the FDA. Dietary supplements, there's no requirement to register the products with the FDA. Now you can go out to Amazon, you can go out to Walmart, and you get a good look at how many different types of dietary supplements are on the market. But there's no place that actually tells what are all the products out there. So this impacts the industry, the regulators, and the customers in a way that we don't know what's out there, what's really good product, what's not so good product. And there's also emerging influencers coming into the industry. Many state regulators, because the FDA hadn't put an overarching in place, were starting to write their own rules. There's many academics that were trying to express what should be done. Other attorney generals after New York went out and did their own studies and more action against the industry. So SSCI came together and was working together on how to fix these problems. So we went from the New York Attorney General investigation to having SSCI formation, so the Supplemental Safety and Compliance Initiative was born. So what does the SSCI, who are they? So SSCI, again, is a retailer-led and industry-driven with an open access to additional participation from suppliers and producers to help implement best practices in benchmarking, testing protocols, microbiological standards, safety, and shelf life stability areas of interest. It's focused on improved traceability and identification protocols to provide maximum safety for end users. When they started setting up their systems, they looked around and they looked at the GFSI system, which is used for the food industry, and has been very successfully implemented across the food industry. So when SSCI sat down to set up their systems, they started basing their systems on the GFSI model. So SSCI is a nonprofit, industry-driven, and retailer-led company. It provides guidance and leadership regarding controls necessary to ensure authenticity, product safety, GMP compliance, and dietary supplements throughout the supply chain. It was created through collaboration between leading industry experts from retail manufacturing, certification bodies, quality control, ingredient process, etc. And why did they do it? Because they felt that third-party certification schemes are increasingly becoming more prevalent and widely accepted. The schemes help meet the demands of the global market for improving food safety across food supply chains. So because it worked across food supply chains, they thought it'd be a really good idea that they could do the same thing across the dietary supplement supply chain. Certification schemes for dietary supplements are not uniform, leading to inconsistency of audits in the marketplace. So they wanted to get a industry standard put in place that was focused across. One of the things that they purposely did when they developed their benchmark, they did not include the certification bodies like SGS in the development of the benchmarks. They purposely did this because they didn't want certifier bias in their program. If you look at the SSCI competitors, their programs are based upon a certification body scheme developed by that certification body. And it's very focused on what that certification body is driving in the direction to do. And those other schemes out there adapted those, versus SSCI went out and purposely adapted a scheme independent of the certification body. And that way when they brought the certification bodies in, like SGS, they have everybody on the same page, everybody doing it the same way, everybody getting the same training to reduce the amount of inter and intra-auditor variation across this program. All right, so the key objectives for SSCI. They want to create an effective global system ensuring traceability, transparency, and quality throughout the supply chain. They want the system to be able to reduce risks, to ensure equivalence between safety management systems. They want to drive global change by using benchmarking of domestic and international standards. They want to help eliminate redundancy in certification, improve operational efficiency and costs for companies. It's not that they're going to save you any work per se, but what they're hoping is to drive the business toward SSCI, that you only have to focus on meeting one standard and not trying to meet the standard from UL and the standard from ANSI and the NSF and then the SSCI standard, which are all based on 21 CFR Part 111, but they want to get it down, hopefully, to where the industry is focused on one standard, being SSCI. They've also provided a unique stakeholder platform open to collaboration, knowledge sharing, and networking. Because they are non-for-profit, their fees are very reasonable to be a member. The fees are used to support the reduced cost training programs and also the auditor witnessing program, which is when the SSCI sends auditors out to watch other auditors work to make sure all the auditors are doing it the same way, versus some of the other schemes which have a very exuberant cost to them for just being a member. So what are the key advantages? Harmonized methods, process, auditing techniques, and checklists on a global basis designed to provide best-in-class with responsible approaches to the challenges of a complex supply chain. As we all know that the dietary supplement supply chain is very complex, going across many countries around the globe. So looking at a proactive solution to enhance the customer confidence in the products offered at SSCI participating retailers like Walmart, designed to cut down on the unnecessary audit tourism that are expensive and time-consuming. So, do I need to be USP certified? Do I need to be NSF certified? Do I need to be UL certified? Do I need to be SSCI certified? They're really pushing across the organization to get everybody onto one page versus multiple pages. So the SSCI certification is patterned after a risk-based assessment criteria adopted by leading jurisdictions around the world. So what are some of the key benefits when you're looking at joining SSCI or earning SSCI certification? We help reduce your safety risk by delivering equivalent and converging between effective safety management systems. We want to drive global change by benchmarking domestic and international standards. We want to help you manage costs by demonstrating continuous CGMP standards, improving operational and supply chain efficiencies, and eliminating audit redundancies. We want to help develop core competencies in capacity building and supplement safety to create an effective global system. We're here to help provide a stakeholder platform to facilitate collaboration, knowledge sharing, and networking. And we want to communicate improvements and educate customers of the impact of such changes. So some of those changes are SSCI is highly involved with the new FDA dietary supplement expert and how she is setting up her system to train the new round of FDA inspectors that are going to be trained to come out and visit all you folks that manufacture. They're involved working with the different organizations in the industry, all driving to harmonize. So what is the structure of SSCI? SSCI set the structure up very similar to the GFSI program, for those of you from the food industry. So you have stakeholders in the board and the industry leadership groups, and you have benchmark committees, general work groups, and technical working groups. So when you look at the different, how SSCI is up similar to GFSI, purpose is the global initiative around dietary supplement quality and safety. They created an industry guidance to which certification programs can be benchmarked for equivalency. Their scope is the entire dietary supplement supply chain. They developed their standards with harmonized benchmarking. Once recognized, accepted by all. And there is a membership that dietary supplement retailers, manufacturers, raw material suppliers can be part of, and it's driven by retailers and the industry itself. So SSCI currently has some working groups around botanicals, auditor competency and training, finished product stability, raw material and finished product testing, probiotic ID and testing, along with some other groups as well that you can read. And some future working groups that SSCI would like to do, wild crafted herbs, storage and distribution they'd like to focus on in the future, processing of perishable products, things along those lines. So, SSCI benchmark technical document, they generated the technical document by using the guidelines, 21 CFR Part 111, looking at the Therapeutic Goods Administration out of Australia, EU regulations, applicable parts of 21 CFR Part 117. They had no certifier bias. They did not receive input from the certification bodies when they developed it. They did involve ANSI, the National Accreditation Board, ANAB, for general benchmarking requirements. Allows certification body, certification program owner to benchmark their standard against their program. and it provides a voice, and there's a technical benchmarking guidance document. And as part of the package, when we email you all later, the slide deck and everything, we'll also include the SSCI technical benchmarking document, so you guys can see what's in there. So, what are the next steps for SSCI? The benchmarking document was approved. The website was updated. They completed the first auditor training in November 2020. And then they got a total of 8 facilities in 2021 due to COVID and people not being able to get on site. So now they've done additional training, additional CB certification body participation, reviewed and updated the technical documents, and Walmart's on board, and now we're certifying a lot more companies to the standard. So here's the board of directors that are currently with SSCI, the board of directors, the companies they work at, that are part of the leadership team for SSCI. And as you can see, it is retailer-led and industry-led. So, why do companies seek these certifications? Why do companies want an SSCI certification? Well, starting in January 2024, if you want to sell your products at Walmart, you need an SSCI certification. It's also because if you get the certification for Walmart, the same certification can be used to sell your products on Amazon. Your client or partners that you sell your products to may require you to do it. Sometimes, depending on where you're shipping product, if you're exporting product out of the United States, you need to have a GMP certificate. This would be one of those GMP certificates that you could use to export your shipment. Having an SSCI certification will help your customers with their supplier qualification program, and it helps you to reduce your risk. So those are all positive things that we can use. So what is the process of becoming SSCI certification? A company reaches out to a company like SGS, and we ask you to complete a questionnaire so we can prepare a proposal. Once we receive the assigned proposal, we schedule the audit. 2 to 4 weeks before the audit, we send you the audit schedule. We conduct the audit. And because this system is set up similar to GFSI, it's a yearly recertification. A lot of certifications are year 1 certify, year 2 surveillance, year 3 surveillance, year 4 recertify. This one is every year you recertify. With that said, any nonconformities found during the audit have to be closed before the certificate can be issued. So that is a big difference. When you look at other certification schemes that are in the 3-year cycle, any majors have to be closed before the certification is issued. Minors, you just put a plan in place, and then the following audit the next year, you verify that the minors have been corrected. In this case, because it's a yearly certification, you have to close those nonconformities out quickly. So how to best prepare for a successful audit for SSCI? The SSCI technical benchmarking requirements is a great place to start. Contact SSCI or SGS for a free copy. As a benefit of attending today, we're going to send you a free copy. Please note that the key elements of SSCI were drawn from various organizations, including the WHO Good Agricultural and Cultivation Practices, 111 and 117 applicable parts. It's not a safety standard, and SSCI does not actually issue the certifications. That comes from a certification body. So you contact SGS to start the process. So, real quick, if you'd like to be contacted, hit the yes or no button. Go ahead. We're not going to actually show you the results on this one, but then what we'll do is then we'll move on to the next part here when you're answering that question. What did I do here? All right, so I'm going to kick this back over to John to wrap up the last few slides. I thank you for your attention for the last 40 minutes or so. Thank you so much for listening to me. And if you have any questions, my contact information will be at the end of the slide deck.
Thank you, John. There are a couple of questions here. The first is, are there any side effects taking dietary supplements? So having worked at a dietary supplement company for 5 years, I can tell you absolutely yes. And we had to report those the same way a pharmaceutical would have to report their side effects. So hopefully that answers your question. The second question is, since supplements are a food, why aren't they using GFSI's benchmark program? John, would you like to answer that one? Again, it's since supplements. Go ahead.
Okay, not all supplements are food. Some supplements are in food, and some supplements are in classical pharmaceutical formulation. It's sort of a hybrid industry that crosses the barriers of both the food industry and the pharmaceutical industry. And because it's such a broad-based industry, GFSI is focused strictly on the food grades. Pharma standards are focused on pharma standards. So SSCI wanted to develop and did develop a standard that crosses that area, that covers the important food parts for the people that make food-type formulations and the important classical pharmaceutical formulation, tablets, capsules, even the gummies nowadays are considered the pharmaceutical side, formulation information, so that put the whole quality system around that.
Very good, very good. Another question is, SQF is the SQF certificate acknowledged by the U.S. Amazon through 21 CFR 111?
I would have to research that to give you an answer, and we will answer that question and get back to you. I don't know. I know SQF is approved with Amazon. I believe it's approved with Amazon for food sales. Don't know off the top of my head if it's the approved for dietary supplements with Amazon. I'll have to check into that.
Okay. And from Amy Smith, where do contract manufacturers currently fall in this auditing scheme?
Okay, so if you are a contract manufacturer, then you will have to be SSCI certified as the manufacturing organization in order for your client companies to sell their products at Walmart. So your client companies Walmart's going to tell them that they need a SSCI certification from the manufacturers. They're going to come to you and tell you that you need an SSCI certification. So the sooner you get on the bandwagon, the better.
Because, John, if I own the brand but I have it outsourced to a contract manufacturer, ultimately, as the brand owner who wants to sell around the United States or into Europe, I'm still the one who has to get it, but the audit occurs at the manufacturing site. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay, new question. Does the SGS carry out certifications for individuals, say, as an SQF practitioner or auditor? I've just lost it.
So yes, we don't offer true certifications for individual practitioners. What we do offer is, if you'd like to be trained on how to be an auditor for SSCI, we can work with you to get trained to be an auditor for SSCI, but you have to work with a certification body in order to perform the audit. So if you would like to talk to somebody at SGS about coming on board as a contract auditor and being SSCI certified to conduct those audits for SGS, that's something you can do. Reach out to John or I, and we'll put you in contact with the appropriate people.
Very good, Toby. We'll look forward to your email should you be interested. And the next question, Amy, are the technical documents for contract manufacturers in the second round to be released in the future? I don't think there's a second round. The entire audit happens in one 3-day session. So with SSCI, at least, that's 3 days back to back. There's not a stage 1 and stage 2. Hopefully, Amy, that answered your question. If not, post another one, please.
Right.
Ashley writes, what date will Walmart and Amazon start requiring co-manufacturers to be SSCI certified?
Well, for Walmart, it was January 1st, 2024. And for Amazon, it's one of the choices that you can use to sell your product. For your client, your partner company that sells on Amazon, they can pick one of there's a list of different certifications that their contract manufacturer can have, and SSCI is one of those certifications that Amazon accepts. So if you get it for Walmart, you can use it for Amazon. So Walmart's requiring it, and it's at the manufacturing site, so contract manufacturers do have to have the audit done at their site. So that's in effect now. And then it's beneficial because then they can use it at Amazon without you having to get certified as a contract manufacturer to another standard.
Very good, very good. And Jonathan writes, SQF has an email from Amazon that they accept certification to our dietary supplement code. That's what Jonathan wrote.
Okay. And that's probably more than true, but I'm not an SQF guy, so I have to look it up to confirm that.
Yeah. And thank you, Jonathan, for that. And thank you, everybody, for attending. Just to wrap it up real quick, you can go to our YouTube channel and sign up for additional webinars on demand, live events, virtual facility tours, and other events. I want to say thank you again. I know you invested some time with us. We appreciate it. If we can ever help you out, I hope you contact either John or I. I'd love to be the contact point to take the load off John so he can go out and do what he needs to do. But if you have a technical question, we can help you. And if you'd like a quote, certainly feel free to contact me. I'd love to help you out. If you have any suggestions for future webinars, please let us know your questions and how we can help you best. And with that said, wishing you a wonderful day and happy certifications out there. Thank you, everybody.